Hey everyone, it's time for chapter 8. I hope that you enjoyed my guest reader. Today we have Lair. Say hi, Lair. Lair. He don't want to look. It is rainy and dreary today, so I'm getting this reading in early. When we finished chapter 7, when Miss Masterson finished chapter 7, she read that Jenny went up in the attic and she found that trunk that had Hannah's stuff in it, and in the bottom of the trunk she found the dress from the milk carton. So this solidified that yes, she was kidnapped. All right, so here we go, chapter 8. Oh look, the sun is out. That's so nice. It was just thundering. For supper, her mother had made a pot roast with potatoes, turnips, onions, and a rich, dark, thick gravy. Jenny had no appetite. The smell, which ordinarily would have brought her into the kitchen with her father, moaning and clutching at things, pretending starvation and deprivation made her ill. She ate nothing. Jenny, honey, don't you feel well? She shook her head. I'm fine. Well, what can I fix you then, said her mother. Would you rather have soup and toast? I'd rather have a McDonald's cheeseburger, said Jenny. I hate this old-fashioned, heavy-duty mom-in-the-kitchen stuff with gravy. It was like stabbing her mother. She had to look away from the hurt on her face. My child of this century, her mother struggled to make a joke out of it. Pizza Hut is better than my chicken pot pie, and the McDonald's cheeseburger beats out my pot roast? Her father had seconds and then thirds to make his wife feel better. He complimented her extravagantly on the texture and flavor of the gravy. Jenny knew they were waiting for her to take initiative and apologize, so they didn't have to tell her to. How was school, said her father. Oh, you know, school. Her father drew a long breath. We had a great practice. I can't wait for the next game. Lincoln Middle School graduated all its competitions, so we ought to slaughter them, Jenny. I want you to come. You haven't seen my team play yet. How about coming to tomorrow's game? He was eager as a little boy to show off his team. I could put an ad in the Sunday Classifieds down there in New Jersey, thought Jenny. What could I say? Need more details. Describe Jenny Spring. Who is Hannah? But that would give those New Jersey parents hope that I exist, that I am out here and I miss them and I want them. I exist, but I don't want different parents. I like everything exactly the way it is. How can I have a mother or a father or both that I don't miss and don't want? Am I some kind of monster? But now I know they're out there. How can I leave them hanging, never knowing that I'm fine? Why am I fine? How could Mother and Daddy do it? Are they monsters? It's a lot of questions she has in her head. Her father pulled her thick red hair back into a ponytail and brushed his face with it. Come on, Jenny, he coaxed. I need you out there cheering. Bring a crowd. Make all those high school kids come and yell for us. Daddy, don't pull my hair like that. She tugged herself free. Now she had hurt her father as well. He loves me, she thought. How could love arise from a crime like kidnapping? There's a great movie on tonight, said her mother. Want to watch it with me? Can't. Too much homework. Jenny left the table, clearing her entirely clean plate. She went up to her room, shutting the door firmly. She tried to pull her parents out of her mind, but Jenny was peace-loving. The little fight stuck like needles. She calmed herself, going through her clothes, deciding what to wear tomorrow. There was an honors breakfast. The marking period had ended. The first quarter was over. It seemed to her that they were shooting through fall, rocketing toward winter, that Christmas would have arrived before she ever gotten her winter coat out. She was in the mood for an entire new wardrobe. She wondered if her mother would take her. Shopping. Memory struck like an axe. It was the clearest daymare yet, complete with dialogue. Now she's back, remembering when she's 3. They were clothes shopping. They? Who were they? She could not quite see them, but she could hear them. No, you can't have that, Jenny. You got loads of hand-me-downs. But, Mommy. Not now. Can you see I'm busy with the twins? But, Mommy. No, you don't need patent leather handbag. Jenny stopping off by herself, finding that store with those high, swiveling stools, sitting at the counter, swinging herself in circles, pushing herself by the edge of the counter. The counter was a pale, greenish flecked formica. The napkins popped out of the stainless steel box. The woman with the long, shiny hair sat next to her and bought her a sundae. Toward 8 o'clock, her father knocked on her door. Kitten, may I come in? Sure. Who's the woman, thought Jenny. My mother downstairs, another wife of Daddy's, the shopping mother? She called me Jenny, and I answered. It was my name. Her father entered tentatively, as if he did not know her or the room. Is something wrong, honey? Why are you so mad at us? He was a big man, lean, able to have seconds on gravy without a thought. He had gone gray early, but lost no hair. The mass of gleaming silvery hair was distinguished. She said evenly, "Why would you think that?" "Because you're hostile and mean. What's going on?" "You tell me." She wanted to force answers out of him, but she did not want to ask the questions. They screamed at each other, and theirs was not a screaming family. Janny could not remember when she had thrown ugly words at her parents. She's feeling some type of way. But in the morning, she had to rush to school for the honors breakfast. Jelly donuts, orange juice, and coffee supplied the Parent-Teacher Association for anybody with the grades. It was dumb and embarrassing, but nobody ever missed it. You didn't get the rounds of applause for a B average that you got for playing football, nor the spotlight for a terrific term paper that you got for the jazz band. You had to settle for a jelly donut and one line in the newspaper listing. Reeve was there. "Reeve," said everybody, staggering around, clutching their hearts, running to the principal to double-check the honors list. "This is Reeve." "Our Reeve?" "Reeve, whose arms have never weighed down with those paper and cardboard things known as books?" "Drop dead," said Reeve, but he was grinning. Janny beamed at him. "Reeve, I didn't know you were doing so well," she accused him. "You made me think you were going to have to repeat your entire academic year." Reeve shrugged like a little kid. "I wasn't sure I could get the grades," he admitted to her. "I never tried before. Grades were what Megan and Lizzie and Todd did, not me." "Mr. McCain," Sarah Charlotte said to the principal, "did Reeve pay you off, or is he just a misprint on the honors list?" "Reeve studied brilliantly," said the principal. "Reeve is becoming a fine student indeed. Just like," don't let McCain say "just like his sisters and brother," thought Janny. "It will ruin it for Reeve. Let this be Reeves, not some spin-off. Just like me," she said, striking center stage pose and flinging her vast quantity of red hair around. Oh, just because she loves him. She didn't say it yet, but she does. "Oh, yes," said Sarah Charlotte. "You who sneak in here with exactly 0.1% above the minimum. Reeve, if you're going to imitate anybody, imitate me." She flirted madly with him, seizing his wrist and beginning to dance wildly. Reeve grinned. "She better back up. It's Janny's man." Joyfully, the PTA president announced that it was time to sit down. "What a fine chance for all you brilliant young people to get to know each other better and find new friends," she said, trying to make them talk to people they didn't want to talk to. She had no success. It appeared that nobody wanted any friends. With much grumbling, they tried to shuffle place cards and sit with their old friends. PTA mothers intervened. Janny ended at the table with juniors and seniors, none of whom she knew. She looked yearningly for somebody to switch with, but Reeve had landed with seniors who were giving him a ritually hard time for having joined the academic ranks, and Sarah Charlotte was lost in the crowd. "Introduce yourselves to the person next to you," caroled the PTA mother. Janny was very glad her own mother had been president when Janny was in middle school, and she had been spared this humiliation. She knew who the PTA president's kid was just by checking out the hunched shoulders, meaning that they're sitting like this because they're embarrassed. "Hi, I'm Dave," said the boy next to her dutifully. "Janny," she said. "Tell me about yourself," dictated the PTA mother, as if they were memorizing lines from a play. "Tell me about yourself," repeated Dave. "Well, I was kidnapped at age 3 from a shopping center in New Jersey." Janny panicked. Had she said that out loud? Had those words really fallen out of her mouth? No, surely not. "Just the basics," said Dave teasingly. "This isn't an autobiography for advanced comp. Where you were born, who are your parents, how long you lived in Connecticut, that kind of thing." The room shifted and the table slanted. She wondered why the coffee did not spill and why the donuts did not slide to the floor. Dave blurred when she tried to face him. Parents and Hannah, kidnaps in cars, drove through her eyes and crashed through the back of her brain. I play tennis a lot." "She's afraid of you," said the senior girl. "Gee, that's pretty neat, Dave. You're not the only honors student. You're a big bad wolf." The older kids all dropped their voices an octave. "You're big," they drawled, pointing at Dave, "and you're bad." And Janny's head cleared. She said, "I faint every morning if I don't have all the jelly donuts in sight. Somebody, quick, pass me a jelly donut." "We ate all the jelly donuts," said the girl. You have to have a plain one." "She can have mine," said Dave. "Look, chocolate icing. Now there's an energizer." He held it out of reach, so she would have to make an effort, touch his hand, and lean toward him. Dave stepping in on Janny. I don't like it. Dave was interested in her. Interested. That world of dating and movies and backseats of cars. If she smiled back the right way, one thing would lead to another. She wondered if Reeve was watching. If she flirted with Dave, would Reeve be angry? Jealous? Would he decide to speak up and claim her before Dave did? And Sarah Charlotte, was she watching? Janny looked more carefully at Dave to assess his personality and appearance. She became aware that Dave had asked her another question. She said, I wasn't listening. I said Dave clearly, where are you from? I just moved here last year from Colorado. She knew he was trying to start a real conversation, that being away, having first impressions of this part of the country was a classic opener. But I don't know where I'm from, she thought, or who I am. The breakfast was over. Half the people at her table had already left, and one of them was Dave. Sarah Charlotte came over practically hissing. Janny Johnson, you could at least talk to the guy. What is the matter with you these days? I don't know, said Janny. She tried to imagine herself telling Sarah Charlotte the kidnap story. It's not like he asked you to sleep with him, you know, said Sarah Charlotte. Janny did not know why Sarah Charlotte had to go so far into her plans for Janny. One kiss with Reeve and Sarah Charlotte had decided Janny had a sexual history. And he was so adorable, said Sarah Charlotte. I never noticed him before. It's odd how you can be in school with people you never see. School that day was a queer and floating place. Janny filled her spot. She talked, wrote, wended her way from hall to class. But she was a mind floating in the ocean of confusion, battered against milk carton photographs and attic trunks. It was raining again that afternoon, just like now. So Reeve gave her a ride home. She wanted him to say, I love you, or let's go to a movie, or don't be friends with Dave, be friends with me. But Reeve just poked the radio buttons endlessly, dissatisfied with every station. She wanted him to kiss her again, and she wanted him to suggest it, or start it. I can't make small talk, she said. Breakfast was awful. It was like filling out a form. Reeve laughed. I loved it. All the girls flirted with me. Why did he say that, she thought, uttering miserably. I don't want to be the one who's jealous. Dave kept asking me questions I didn't know the answers to. He asked where you were born, said Reeve. You couldn't come up with that? Reeve, I don't know the answer to questions like that. Reeve moaned. That sounds like my philosophy class. I hate that kind of thing. Don't you start it. Reeve, if I tell you something, will you keep it a secret? The Johnsons have secrets? I don't believe it. I don't believe it either. That's half the problem. I can't tell if I'm going insane or taking drugs in my sleep or if what? But it was too preposterous to say, especially to Reeve. He, more than anybody, would find it absurd. He knew the family too well. Janny, said Reeve loudly, as if saying it for the 10th time. We're here. Get out. She stared at him. Who was he? Had she never seen him before? Her fingers fumbled for the handle. Her arms were stiff and numb, as if she were going to rigor mortis. She remembered leaving the stool that could only be in the shopping center in New Jersey. Remembered hopping down from that green counter and leaving the half-eaten vanilla ice cream sundae. Remembered somebody taking her hand, saying, let's go for a ride now. She remembered herself laughing, delighted, and going. I gave up my real family for a sundae, thought Janny Johnson. She crossed the shrub barrier between their driveways. Both her parents' cars were out there. She walked slowly, rain pouring on her hair and her face. Inside the side door, she scuffed the bottoms of her wet shoes on the rubber mat. Her mother had made a pot of coffee. Janny could smell it, filling the house like breakfast and warmth. She walked into the kitchen. It was like a child's scene built in a shoebox from 2nd grade. Her father pouring milk in his mug, her mother filling the sugar bowl, the clock chiming, the snacks they were having, a Pepperidge Farm cake defrosting on the counter. I will go mad if I don't find out, she thought, if I'm not already mad. Still dripping from the rain, clinging to her book bag, Janny said, I want to know why there aren't any pictures of me until I'm 5. Even if you didn't buy a camera until then, you would have a baby portrait done. I want to know who Hannah is upstairs in the trunk. I want to know why you won't let me see my birth certificate. And that is the end of chapter 8. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.